You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the January 9th, 2023 meeting of the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Good afternoon. My name is Skylar York. I'm the executive director of the Michigan City Redevelopment Commission. It is Monday, January 9th, and I'm calling this meeting to order. And our first order of business tonight is election of officers. I will open up the floor for election of president or election of officers.
Yes. I nominate Chris Chatfield for president.
I second the nomination.
Hearing a second, I'll call for the vote. Or are there any other nominations? Chris, will you accept?
Yes.
I'll call for the vote. Mr. Barrett?
Aye.
Mr. Warner?
Aye.
Mr. Chatfield?
Wait.
Ms. Deitch?
Aye.
Oh, golly, Miss Dennis? I'm so sorry. And Mr. Domkowski? Oh, I'm sorry. You're not. Sorry, Kathy. With that, I'm gonna step down and hand it off to the president. All in favor?
Aye.
Sorry. We'll step down and hand it off to the president.
Thank you, R. Thank you all. I will open up the nominations for vice president.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Kim Barrett.
We have a second.
Second.
Having a first and a second, do we have another nomination for vice president? Hearing none, I'll go through the roll call. Oh, Ken, will you accept?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Commissioner Deitch.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Warner.
Aye.
Commissioner Barron.
Aye.
And the chair is aye. Congratulations, Mr. Barron, for vice president. I'll open up the nomination for secretary.
I'd like to nominate Angie Nelson Deutsch for secretary.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Having a first and a second, are there any more nominations for secretary? Hearing none, I will go to the roll call.
I accept.
Oh, yeah, you accept. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes. Commissioner Deitch.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Warner.
Aye.
Commissioner Barron.
Aye.
And the chair is aye. Skylar is the acting secretary. Yeah, we don't vote on that. So I would say that the slate of officers is complete. Thank you. Guess I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Deitch.
Present.
Commissioner Dennis.
Present.
Commissioner Warner. Present. Commissioner Barron.
Here.
And Commissioner Chatfield is aye as well. All here and accounted for. As well, I'd like to also thank Commissioner Domkowski, who is not an acting voter, but he's here and a big supporter of the Redevelopment Commission from the school system. So we appreciate that. Thank you. Go to the next section, number 4 on the agenda, approval of minutes, 12/12/2022 executive session, and also the 12/12/22 hybrid regular meeting. I'd ask if there are any corrections, deletions, or additions to said minutes of those two meetings.
No, I move that we move that we approve the minutes from the 12/12 executive session and hybrid regular meeting.
Second.
Having a first and a second, I'll go through the roll call. Commissioner Deitch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis,
Aye.
Commissioner Werner,
Aye.
Commissioner Barron,
Aye.
and the chair is aye. Thank you for those. Oh, yes. Pardon me. We do have, as I maybe had mentioned at the last meeting that, and maybe not, I don't recall, but John Hendricks, who was a very good steward to the Redevelopment Commission over the years that he was on the commission, stepped down at the end of the last year. We looked far and wide and found a great replacement, Mr. Tim Warner, who has lived in Michigan City for many, many years and is a civil engineer. He went to one of the greatest schools in the world, Purdue, and has continued his engineering work in the community for the time that he's been here. So I pass it to you, Tim, for a few moments to give us just a brief background. One of the things that intrigued me about Tim was having John Hendricks on the commission was we had an engineer that understood one that could really dig deep into agreements and understand contracts and also engineering. Tim brought that to the table too. So it was a big win, I think, from our perspective to bring Tim on board. So I'll pass it off to you, Tim, to give us just a few moments.
All right, I'll try to keep it short and sweet. Name is Tim Warner. I was born in Michigan City. Went to Riley School, which is now the Michigan City Area Schools Administration building. So I missed the gymnasium floor there. I used to play on as a kindergartner, but that's neither here nor there. But I went to Krieger Middle School. During middle school, my family moved to Florida. So I went to Florida with Woodruff & Sons Construction. My dad was a foreman there. Grew up in Florida, went to high school, graduated high school down there. I applied to, I was just talking with Angie on the way here, I applied to several universities in Florida and Georgia Tech after I graduated and applied to Purdue, the best school in the whole world. And Purdue accepted me, being the smart university that they are. Graduated in 1982, worked back in Florida for a few years for the contractor doing surveying layout. And then I came up to the Chicago market area looking for work here. Since my family was back in Michigan City, I interviewed in this area. Worked for 25, 30 years doing municipal engineering work in Chicago, moving up. We had projects at O'Hare Airport and Midway, all kinds of places in suburban areas, and moved back to Michigan City in 1999. And my wife and I and our two kids grew up here, moved here. My daughters grew up here, went to school here, graduated from Michigan City High School, and they both went to Purdue, the best university in the whole planet, and I love being here. I worked for a consultant here in Michigan City. Worked for a consultant in LaPorte for a little while, and now after trying to find myself some more time to be able to do things like be on this board, I work for INDOT in LaPorte District, and I'm doing transportation as their special projects engineer at INDOT. And here I am helping the Redevelopment Commission. It's great to be here.
Thanks, Tim. Welcome.
Sure enough.
It was short enough. Yeah, anymore, I was going to turn you off. Yeah, I got this button over here. Well, thank you and welcome. And we look forward to your direction on some of the engineering projects that we work on. So thank you. Next on the agenda, the approval of claims. I'll turn that over to Mr. York.
This is the claims docket for January 9th, 2023. For December of 2022, we had payroll for CDBG reimbursables, and we had staff and commissioners. From our operating account, we had Great American Financial for copier fees for for December of 2022, Saranac Law Offices for legal retainer for December of 2022, We have North TIF for Baker Tilly, professional services for North TIF plus 2022 annual report presentation. We have Butler, Fairman, and Seaford for engineering services for Washington Park Boulevard streetscape. We had the City of Michigan City for reimbursement of wire lease payment for Elston Grove 2021 refunded bond. We had Michigan City, the City of Michigan City reimbursement wire lease payment for Lafayette Barker 2019 refunded bond. We had the DBA Holdings for deposit for 304 stainless steel equipment for 1215 East 2nd Street for Barnum Brewing. We had HDR Engineering for engineering services for station block TOD modifications. We had Midwestern Electric for removal of remove cable from poles for double track project. We had NIPSCO for utilities at 1215 East 2nd Street. Plus Shalley, Reicher, and Braun for legal services for Trail Creek properties, expenses, and advances. We had Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the North TIF for December of 2022. From the South TIF, we had Baker Tilly Professional Services for South TIF, plus the 2022 annual report presentation. The City of Michigan City reimbursement for wire lease payment for 2019 double track bond. City of Michigan City for reimbursement wire lease payment for 2018 Ohio Street bond. DLZ Engineering for engineering services for the South Connectivity Improvement Project. Saranac Law Offices for legal services in the South TIF December of 2022. And from the East TIF, we had Baker Tilly for professional services for the East TIF plus 2022 annual report presentation. We also had Reith Riley for Mott's Parkway, Millennium Park Business Park paving. We had from the Northeast TIF, we had Baker Tilly for professional services in the Northeast TIF plus 2022 annual report presentation. From 2019 double track bond, we had U.S. Bank for operation fund and administrative fees. 2019 refunded Lafayette Barker bond, we had U.S. Bank for operation fund and administrative fees.
Thank you, Mr. York. Any questions concerning the claims? Hearing none, I'd ask for a roll call on a motion to approve the claims for January 9th, 2023.
I move to approve the claims.
I second it.
Having a first and a second, I'll go through the roll call. Commissioner Deitch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis,
Aye.
Commissioner Warner,
Aye.
Commissioner Barron,
Aye.
and the chair is aye. Motion passes. Approval of financial report, Mr. York again.
This is the balance sheet for 11/30/2022. And our cash operating account, we have $253,782.37. From the South TIF, South Side TIF account, we have $7,479,184.90. And the South Side TIF debt reserve account, we have $336,308.50. In the Southside TIF capital account, we have $16,572.25. In the North End TIF account, we have $2,596,432.95. In the East Side TIF, we have $101,330.54. In the Northeast TIF account, we have $421,330.25. In the loans receivable county business loan, we have $133,333.00 for total assets of $11,338,274.76.
Any questions for Mr. York?
Move we approve the financials for November 30th as presented.
I second it.
Having a first and a second, I'll go through the roll call. Commissioner Deitch,
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis,
Aye.
Commissioner Warner,
Aye.
Commissioner Barron,
Aye.
and the chair is aye. Motion passes for the approval of the financial report November 30, 2022. The request for Main Street to utilize Plaza property, 7th and Franklin, for Shelf Ice Brewfest. I'll defer to Mr. York.
Yes, good afternoon. They will be represented by Mr. Justin Post and Mr. Arturo Pozos. Go ahead, guys. Floor is yours.
If you just your name and your address, please,
Yep.
for both of you.
Justin Post, Michigan City Main Street Association. I'm at 2024 Oriole Trail. And
Arturo Pozos, Michigan City, 514 Holiday Street.
Thank you.
And our request today, as in, I believe, 7 previous iterations of the Shelf Ice Brewfest, is to use the vacant lots once designated for the plaza area on the west side of Franklin Street on 7th and Franklin. We're only going to ask up to the alleyway there. And
Going west.
yes, going west.
Okay.
We have before, basically we fenced those off. We have one tent that's a warming tent for, it has music, and it's a place where people can get warmed up in between samples of their finest beverages. And then on the other side, we've had the Lucky Hatchet come in on that side and do their thing with the axe throwing. They're a vendor of ours as well. I don't believe that we plan on doing anything else with that land. So the damage to the grass, as always, would be kept to a minimum. And when we did, when I was in front of the Board of Works earlier, we recognized there was a bit of a problem, especially last year with litter. And we're working our hardest to mitigate that litter, especially by reducing the amount of package for samples from our beer and wine vendors. So that's part of the way that we'll mitigate that. The other is obviously just to get that cleaned up by volunteers after the event.
Perfect. Any questions from the commission?
I move that we approve the request for the Main Street to utilize the plaza property for Shelf Ice.
With the appropriate insurance. I
With the
second.
appropriate insurance as well.
And you guys have already been before the Board of Works, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
So we're kind of next in line, if you will.
Yeah, sure.
As an additional insured, though, if I might, yeah, the Redevelopment Commission as well. Yes.
Thank you. Having the first, is there a second to approve the?
That was a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Having a first and a second, I'll go to the roll call. Commissioner Deitch.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Warner.
Aye.
Commissioner Barrett.
Aye.
And the chair is aye. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you all very much. And if I can just point out, I think you guys are mispronouncing IU when you say, I think, what do you say?
Oh, no, yeah, it's very clear. Very clear. Very clear. Thank you. Very clear. Number two.
Who?
Yeah. Well, my family hit all three. IUPUI, and Purdue. So
just as a side, I would say that the Shelf Ice makes Michigan City a really, in my view, starting to make Michigan City a 12-month-a-year destination. So we appreciate your hard work, fortitude to make sure that we can continue that tradition, because it's terribly important. We bring lots of people into town. Main Street Association continues that, and we appreciate your hard work. So thank you. Next on the agenda, South TIF Connectivity Improvement Project. Skylar?
Yeah, I do believe we have some business to take care of tonight. Sylvia's here. We also have Mr. Jeff Wright online, and then I know Alan's been involved in some conversations too. So just seeing what we need to get done for tonight, approval wise. Sylvia, Lord yours.
So everyone, I am cold, so I'm going to keep my coat on because I'm small. We're just here to kind of give you guys an update. The South TIF District. First of all, I am Sylvia Collins. I am the Assistant Planning Director for the City of Michigan City. I've been project managing this project since I kind of started working here. The project is moving forward successfully. We're in the process of moving forward with acquisitions for the properties that we need to move forward with the second portion of the South TIF project. And we just want to inform you guys on that. I want to give Jeff the opportunity to talk about the part of the project that we've moving forward with the bidding out for the CC1 portion.
Jeff, you there?
Yeah, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
you. First of all, I'd like to say congratulations, Tim, on the appointment, and that I also graduated from the greatest university in the world.
Boom.
And I'm Jeff Wright with Haas and Associates 526 Franklin. And my update will actually be very thin this evening. Ryan is our project manager, Ryan Laughlin, and he's on vacation this week. And Tim usually backs up Ryan when he goes on vacation, but it turns out that Tim went on vacation this week. So you have me holding down the fort here at Haas and Associates. Ryan did send me an email, and he wanted me to inform you that he didn't have any real significant updates other than to say that there was a meeting with Skylar and Sylvia in Allen to discuss the project's next steps. And I think on our side, we're waiting for a response from the Redevelopment Commission on final design, moving forward with final design. And I think, if I understood his email, that once the move into final design is approved, then I think he was suggesting that they would send in an amendment to the agreement. I'm afraid I don't know a whole lot about the original contract, but I know that it sounds like there's an amendment would be necessary to move into the final design stage, as long as everybody's okay. Moving into that. I can talk about the portion of the project that was bid. Not much of an update there. We're just in a holding pattern until spring. The contract has been awarded. We're just in a holding pattern now until spring, where we will ultimately issue a notice to proceed at the appropriate time. And so that's what I have for the South TIF.
The piece that he talked about, response back from the Redevelopment Commission, is a response back from me and Sylvia about the extent of design work. We have, at that meeting, we reviewed the boundaries. So how much road do we need? We have Town Center Drive. We know that it doesn't belong to the redevelopment or the city. So it's like, how do we get that? What's the extent of that? Do we need? So at that meeting, like things like, okay, we needed to add another 10 feet here, 5 feet here to make sure we're getting enough space to do sidewalks, bus shelter if it needed it, pathways, things like that. So that was the review. And then ultimately the goal is we are in the process of surveying a lot of right of way there. Are we designing all of it? Are we only designing a piece of it? Are we breaking it into different portions and we're designing this portion and then that portion? It's really a decision that we need to think about, and ultimately is like, okay, how much are we going to construct or be able to construct? So that's kind of where the things that I need to get back with him on of. And then there's been some other things that have kind of come up with some other properties that Alan and I have been talking about that we need to consider before we make those decisions as well. So that's kind of what we were talking about. It's just a matter of getting back to them and saying, hey, we want A, B, and C, but not D, or maybe we want it all. Yeah. So. Sylvia, anything else?
No, go ahead.
One thing, just with regards to the first contract, that contract was negotiated and approved and executed by both parties immediately before the first big snowstorm. So call it luck, call it brilliance, call it whatever you want to call it. The fact of the matter is, though, when we give approval on the for phase one construction project, which are sidewalks and easements for the first part of the project, we're doing it in 2023, but at 2022 prices. So that's the big thing on that. I think we lucked out on that. That's all there was to it.
Sylvia, anything else?
No, that was actually the piece as far as, where the project is still moving forward consistently. Boots are on the ground. And we're taking every method to make sure that it's a complete success for the city as a whole.
Thank you, Sylvia.
No problem. Thank you all.
Thank you. Good update. Thanks, Jeff.
If I may, I would just add one more thing, probably not related to CC1. It's related to the Lafayette Barker project that we have underway. I just wanted to mention that we did an inspection on the pipe, which was part of the project you asked us to take a look at. And the pipe itself, I went down in it myself personally and inspected it. The pipe, I think everybody thought the pipe would be in very good condition from lack of use. That's just an assumption that we couldn't make until, we couldn't actually initiate a project until we knew the pipe was good. And that assumption panned out. The pipe is just absolutely spectacular. There isn't a flaw in the pipe anywhere that I could see. Joints are all intact. There's no cracks, no significant leakage through the joints that I could see when I was down there. But I wanted to take the opportunity just to let you know that we are advancing on that one as well.
Yeah, thanks, Jeff. That's really, really good news.
That's excellent news, Jeff.
Okay, good update on the south side, the South TIF connectivity project. Next, the station block update, Mr. York.
So my station block update is just a few things have happened. We will be reviewing the station block through development review on the 24th, I do believe, not next Monday, but the Monday after. It goes through a development review process. It's a brand new building, so it needs to go through this process. That'll be where we solicit feedback from the various departments, and then they'll have a chance to ask questions, and we'll have a chance to ask questions. And then also we have finalized our terms with the state with the IEDC. We are working on getting those in writing, and then getting our letter back from them. We're also working on our development agreement as well. And then in the near future, in February, we will start the bonding process for our portion of the funding. What else can I say? We're working through some of the just small issues on the ground, things, new designs inside, things of that nature. Not things that really involve this commission, but outside people. What else is going on with that? Can I say? Yeah, that's pretty much it right now, but everything is moving forward with it. I guess that's the important piece. The bid for the precast garage went out prior to Christmas, so it is still in the receiving of bid stage at this point in time, and then we will be notified of who the bidder who won that bid. But it has been bid out to the precasters, so that's just the precast piece of it. So. And then there's still a lot more bids to bid packages that will go out with this project.
Progress is being made, so that's important. Any questions for Mr. York on the station block? Next, Your Beautiful site. Go back to Mr. York.
The Your Beautiful site, they have actually been notified that they have received funding from the state as well, and that they are in the process of finalizing their terms with the state. I spoke to the developer this morning. He was in very good spirits with the conversations he had with the state. They will be receiving their funding. They're waiting on most people are just waiting on their letters right now. They do them all at once. Instead of handing them out, they have to get them approved, similar to this board. So they're just waiting on that approval, and then they'll probably be handing them all out. They are looking at, we're talking through the closing date on that, but hopefully we're looking to close, I'd say, in the next few months with that, and then work on the local financing for that as well. So that project's moving forward as well.
Attorney Cernak made a very important point there, is that as we see it today, Michigan City was awarded at least two of the large project dollars throughout the state, and that says a lot. There were, I can't remember how many more. There were 50 others, 60 others that didn't get any funding at all. It says a lot for how Indianapolis feels about this project and our longevity. So it's very important. So I applaud everybody that's been involved and worked very, very, very hard over the last many years, from NICD to the city to the county, everybody that's been involved. So thank you very much. I'll go back to Mr. York, 1215 East 2nd Street, update.
So 1215 East 2nd Street is the Burnham project, and I would say at this point in time, we can probably take it off of our agenda because it's a completed project in that we have all of our documents signed and they are ready to start their construction. So we signed those documents on the Thursday prior to Christmas. All of our incentives are in place. We have began paying for our other incentives to them. But as of right now, that project is complete. So I'd say we can take it off our agenda at this time.
And the property's been conveyed.
Property's conveyed. Keys are handed over to Burnham. So I no longer have the keys. Hopefully we will not pay the electric bill anymore. So congratulations to all of you guys for that was a long time coming, and it shows you the difficulty of these projects, both big and small. Not that any of them are not one is more significant than the other. They're all important, but it just shows you, the difficulties of them and the moving parts, and we just persist and move forward. So yeah, congratulations.
Yeah, I'd say that it's been 2 hard years to make sure that came to fruition. We've had that property for quite a while, and the gentleman from Burnham worked very hard with Centier Bank to get an approval for the loan dollars. We stepped in and assisted as well. So we're looking for good things, and I believe they'll start they'll have boots on the ground end of the month.
End of the month, first couple of weeks of February. Obviously, we're just coming into the new year. They're just getting their contractor mobilized, and you should see things start happening over there. So,
yeah. Good news is they're back on the tax rolls. So,
Mr. President, may I add something to that?
Please.
At NDOT, we've had meetings regarding sidewalk from the casino to this property, and that is going to be added in our current improvement project for US 12, sidewalk on the south side of US 12 up to this property from the casino property.
that's awesome.
Well, that's awesome, Mr. Warner. We one of the other really what I believe to be, I hate to use the word cool, because that's like a 1970s thing with Fonzie, but we have a rail spur that butts up against that property that we were dedicated from one of the railroads, and so we're gonna hard pack that. So somebody coming in on the Singing Sands Trail can ride their bike. They can go by Shoreline. They can come up to Michigan. Go down to Zorn, and they can go the Singing Sands Trail across Peanut Bridge and off to go to Burnham. So we have the 3 breweries we have in Michigan City. That will be a great option for folks that are brewery hunting. So I'm impressed with what we've done in the last number of years to make this happen. So congratulations, and Tim, thanks so much for that. That's an awesome,
Great update.
yeah. There will be people that go and stay at Burnham, or I'm sorry, that will stay at Blue Chip and that will walk there and go to the brewery. So thank you for that update. Next on the agenda, revocation of 3-way liquor licenses for Agave Mansion and update on other establishments. Mr. Cernick, Attorney Cernick.
So while you're promoting the distribution of alcohol in Michigan City, I will take it away. As we discussed last month, well, one more thing, there are specific rules with regards to the three-way alcohol license. It's on. Can't hear me?
Okay, closer.
There are specific requirements for the 3-way alcohol license program that the Redevelopment Commission, the City of Michigan City, has been using for, 10, 15 years as it relates to promoting economic development in downtown Michigan City. But one of those is there are certain requirements as it relates to availability and being open. Last month, I believe, was identified 4 restaurants that there were some concerns with, and the fact that they hadn't opened when they were planning on opening. One that has been undergoing reconstruction for the better part of a year, and then the third being Agave Mansion. I've had conversations with all 4 establishments or representatives of those establishments. Chickpea Restaurant is supposed to be opening up again next week. Cafe Farina, I believe, is open or will be open shortly, end of the month. Vita del Lago is open. And so we don't need to take any action with regards to those licenses. However, on the bad side, as Agave Mansion is permanently closed for reasons, financial reasons and just overall operations. So I've talked with their attorney. They have no objections. Pursuant to statute, we are able to, and I would recommend that we do, revoke that license.
I move that we revoke the 3-way license for Agave Mansion.
I second that motion.
Having a first and a second, I would go to the roll call. Commissioner Deitch.
Aye.
Commissioner Dennis.
Aye.
Commissioner Warner.
Aye.
Commissioner Barron.
Aye.
And the chair's aye. I think it's Attorney Cernick, thank you for the detail there. These are what I would consider to be very valuable attributes for and vehicles for restaurants in the in the locale near Trail Creek. We try to, and we will continue to work very closely to make sure that all the entities we've provided those liquor licenses to stay within compliance. And if they're not, we will certainly have a hard discussion with them. So, and that's what Attorney Cernick's doing. So appreciate that. Next on the agenda, I'll go to my concern is report of legal counsel.
And I never give you bad news. So the only other thing to report is the fact there was an executive session before this meeting. No items were discussed that were not permitted by the open door law, and no decisions were made. That's all I have.
Thank you. Report from Mr. York.
I would just say, I kind of overlook, Alan made a good point, out of all the state, there are lots of requested funds from the state, and there's only $50 million that goes around for tax credits yearly on the cycle. For Michigan City to receive a nod for 2 awards, it's a really big deal for Michigan City. It really is. Most of that money stays in larger cities. I won't name names, but larger cities. So for us to receive 2 notifications, that's really a big deal for Michigan City, and we should be very proud of ourselves as a city that the state is seeing the merit of investing in Michigan City. So that's really it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. York. Public comment.
Hi, Tommy Kolovic, 1316 Ohio Street. I just want to say real quick to give a shout out to my dear sweet niece, Officer Alexis Biggers. She graduated from the IU Police Academy back in 2020, and she works as a 3rd-class patrol officer in the Indiana University Police Department. And she's got received her BA in criminology in May of 2021. Now she's working on her master's in criminal psychology and criminal justice down there. Does real good. She pay her $42,000 a year to patrol the campus, gives her free tuition to take her club, get her master's. Back to this Gavi Mansion, the revocation of liquor license. This is kind of a pet peeve of mine around Michigan City. You see this all over the city. These businesses have closed and take their signs down. It's actually a city code violation, or section 19.05 of the Michigan City Municipal Code, which I want to read. It includes obsolete signs. Signs that advertise a product that is no longer made, an event that has already occurred, or a business that has closed are prohibited. The enforcement shall provide a letter to the property owner given a set time for the removal of the sign. There's another one that kind of bothers me. Mr. John Shalikian, he retired, closed the jewelry store. He has his sign advertising his business on South Franklin Street. It's very tattered and unsightly and really not nice looking. He doesn't own the property where the sign is on now. He sold it a while back. He was constantly coming to the Board of Works complaining these petty little things like piling snow on his property, and they tore down a building over on Cook Street and claimed that the payload or the people that demoed left ruts on his property. I'd like just maybe for the city's street department just to come and do a special pickup and put that sign in their payloader and dump truck and haul it off. Another code violation that he's actually a double code violator. Off-premises signs. Signs except for billboard which identify or use or advertise products, services not available on the premises on which the sign is located. Example, garage sale signs, residential open house signs, signs providing directions to a business are prohibited. Well, that's also in there. The other one that really bothers me is the former Petty's grocery store. Petty's don't own that anymore. After Mr. Petty died, they sold that property in July. They sold the building. There is a sign that advertises, this is from Mr. Mosley Dunkowski. They advertise free GED classes. There's a number, it doesn't have the 1219, now you gotta call 1219. It's very dilapidated. It's not very dignified for the Michigan City area. You call the number and they advertise free GED classes at the AK Smith Center. I don't know what kind of agreement they have, but that really needs to be removed and replaced. Thank you.
I mean, what we'll do is, you can maybe, we'll give Skylar a call and work out those details. Probably Board of Works and planning. Those are all enforcement. I appreciate you coming here tonight. Not Redevelopment Commission related, but I appreciate you coming and bringing those things up. It's important that we talk about those things. So thank you very much. Drew, anybody on online that has a question? Anybody else in the audience with a question tonight? This is my favorite part of the night, actually, commissioner comments, and I get to go to Mr. Debkowski first. Because he sits there and smiles and makes our day happy when he's here. So thank you.
Jeez. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Just the one word that I picked out of tonight is progress. When I can drive from my house across the railroad tracks on Ohio Street, that to me is progress over time. And to see things moving forward and to hear where our other projects are going, I mean, it's really a good feeling. And then Skylar brings up about the investment by Indianapolis, which is really good because we in the school department have problems with Indy every once in a while because they don't recognize. So, I mean, I think this is just a great place that we're going to. And also I have a master's and 30 hours over my work. So I'm waiting for the building at Purdue or the plaque at Purdue to go on. I have a lot invested, plus a daughter, a son-in-law, and my son. So I think we've got it someplace down there.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. No, I always appreciate your commentary. I appreciate it. Thanks so much. Thanks for being a great supporter of what we do. Appreciate it. Yeah. I'll just go down the line. Mr. Dennis.
I would just like to second what Tom just said. I think that the idea that Indianapolis recognizes what we're doing here when they have so many other places they could also have looked at, and the fact that they chose us says a lot about the hard work that everybody does in Michigan City, and the progress that we're making is certainly exciting.
Thank you. Commissioner Deitch.
Ditto. And, this is a good way to start the year, hearing that we have two, because I think it's unprecedented from a city our size to receive something like that. But I'm also just excited for Shelf Ice to be continuing. A lot of us were worried that we weren't going to have that event. So I would just like to thank Main Street, especially since they're a volunteer organization, for continuing to support the city in bringing events like that. And then also wanted to say a little bit of something, and I forgot to bring it up, but I have all three schools covered down, all the way down 65 over to Bloomington. So Purdue first, IUPUI second daughter, third daughter, IU a couple of weeks ago. So I've covered them all, and go Indiana, period. But again, I'm just excited about all the things that we have going on with the station block and you are beautiful. So congratulations to both those sets of developers. And this is just a phenomenal opportunity for the city.
Thank you. Mr. Barrett, Commissioner Barrett.
I'd just like to welcome Tim to our illustrious body here. Whether you went to Purdue or not, it's okay. And I think we're off to a good start for this year, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mr. Warner?
Well, I think I pretty much took up a lot of time already earlier, but I appreciate the opportunity to join you all here. So thank you all for your work, and let's keep going.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so a couple comments. That's the prerogative of the chair a little bit, but so yeah, I'm very proud of where we are. It appears that Northwest Indiana is never able to get money from down south, and Marion County seems to be able to gather all the money and put it in their coffers and do projects. And so this was kind of monumental what we've accomplished, but it was very, very, very necessary. So we completed Burnham. We have 2 other projects coming down the line that will be bonded here in the next couple months and breaking ground. And there are more under Skylar's wing that he will make sure he gets those completed too. And we'll get those moving forward. I will say, I am a Purdue grad. My family is. However, I have to say that Indiana has some of the best universities in the country, and so we make fun and we have fun with our rivals, but at the end of the day, we really do have wonderful universities that produce great kids. I will say that Rob Hart, who may or may not be listening today, says that I get very emotional at the end of the meeting, every redevelopment commission meeting, and the reason is, I believe in Michigan City, where we're headed, what we're doing, we're making a difference, and we're heading in the right direction. So, as my father says, Chatfields are emotional. Do I have a call to end this meeting? Yes, thank you.
Second.
The next meeting of Redevelopment Commission is February 13th, 2023 at 5 p.m. Thank you.